Welcome back. Going through the tutorial, I started looking at the requirements that I had set for the tutorial. The first one, what I want to do is sort of a proof of concept approach. So I walk into this class, advanced software engineering, with, I could see the prerequisites for the class, but really don't understand where you're at in your skill set. Out of a class of 30, there may be 4 or 5 really good programmers. There may be 4 or 5 that pass the classes but really don't understand, and there's probably the rest of you that are in the middle. And no slight onto anybody. I just want to make sure that we're going to get, each person should get the most out of this class as they can. There's also some people that have been purely theoretical this whole time. Probably knows everything there is to know about a class, but has never tried to create programs in production and has went through maybe like an SDLC to create a program, or has not really looked at a new enterprise program. So I thought I'm going to break this down into three different avenues of learning. One is a proof of concept. In other words, a proof of concept phase. If this was a real life scenario, and you were, let's say you were a programmer that had skills in another language, and I was trying to train you on the fly to a new language, I would present to you a bunch of proof of concepts for you to work through to test your mettle, to make sure that you can understand the work and find the syntax and the rest of that. This is real world life scenarios. The second would be a project, which we're going to pick. We'll talk about it first class. I've got 2 in mind, and I'm flexible with either one. I think they're going to be both fun projects to do. They're completely different projects, but I'll leave it democratically up to the class which one we want to pursue. So you have the class, you have the the project, which is a group project. You have the proof of concepts. Then there's also some learning, right? So a learning exercise would be defining what frameworks mean in .NET, defining what Eclipse IDE is used for and how it's set up, and what a perspective means in the Eclipse IDE. Basically, a set of quizzes that are due. I'd rather not have the learning assignments as something that's group, that's individual. Finally, I'm thinking as close as we get to the project, because if we make the project the most the big part of the grade, I'm afraid you're going to carry your grade until the project is near completion. I don't like that. I like having grades and milestones throughout the course. So I'll probably throw a midterm in line. It starts at February 10th. The class over end of May, so somewhere along the lines of mid-April. The language that you use. Now, this is not this. I have a little bit of freedom in which way I want to pursue, and I think to me, and this is 25 years speaking in programming, it's not so much the language itself. It's understanding how to get things done with the tools that you have. If you look at any good shop, a good shop will have all technologies, nearly all technologies, every technology under the sun, and they're used for certain things to do certain bits versus we are a Java only shop with no other products and tools. That just doesn't fly in my experience. Specifically, I want to hit Visual Studio 2012, Visual C Sharp, Visual Basic, ASP. We're going to be hitting the 4.0 and 4.5 frameworks. We're going to be writing, creating, and deploying Win services, as well as web services, as well as web pages. We're going to be doing with class programming, and not procedural language, but real class programming, serializing objects to be sent back and forth over the wire. The Java side, I'm going to do some of the same sort of instances in Java, in so much to at least show how it's done in Java and the equivalent. I will tell you this, and from .NET to Java, there's pretty much an equivalent function or piece that needs to be done. Like this, if this is how you do it in C Sharp, this is how it's done in Java. Um, and I think you'll find it very interesting. Um, Lastly, we'll integrate with databases, and we'll be using encryption calls through our web services. It's going to be pretty interesting. The projects themselves, like the details of the projects, the details are different. The implementation will pretty much be the same. It's not a. I don't want to get into it over the first talk, but certainly we'll talk about what the project's going to look like. As far as the implementation of the project, how we're going to handle the project in class, this is where it gets a little tricky. I looked at the class roster. I have a number of students that are postgraduate, so they're either going for masters, and I think I actually have a couple doctoral students. I'm crossing my fingers, honestly, and hoping that the doctoral students are players and know some code, or at least know how to do Scrum. I literally sight unseen. I don't know one single profile. There's 2 people that I know from this class because I taught them in 260. Beyond that, I don't have a feeling one way or the other with the profiles. But we're going to have to sort of hit the ground running with this. I'd like to run the SDLC for the project in Agile, and from that I need Scrum Masters. I need to be broken into teams. It looks like we'll be 30. Let's call it 30 even on 30 even on the class size. So that gets down to about 5-6 member teams, and within each of those teams, I need a Scrum Master. If there's a straggler, I'd rather have a Scrum Master. A program master is that's what that title is. So if we had 31, I'd have 6 Scrum Masters in each of the 5 teams. Did I do the math right? 6 Scrum Masters, a Scrum Master in each one of the 5 teams, and the 31st person act as a Scrum of Scrums, meaning they're doing the coordination across lines. If we don't have the math for that, I'll do the Scrum of Scrums job. The idea behind Scrum is it's a way to execute the SDLC in a much more faster. You'll see. You'll absolutely see. So I said before the couple things I want out of this class. Number one are the quizzes, which is the learning, a midterm, possibly a final, the project itself, which you're going to hit milestones, and the proof of concepts. And I think that my goal is to have perfect proof of concepts that are technology agnostic and are time agnostic. In other words, if you took these few concepts and bottled them, canned them, they should be good 10 years from now, assuming even if the technology changes. The kind of stuff I'm going to show you is old technology, right? In other words, it's not we're not making GIFs or anything like that. These are tried and true methods on how to do web and Win services programming. Excellent. I'm really looking forward to the class. This was a sort of a walkthrough of the proof of concept from week 1. What I did was I asked you to create a Hello World application. Piece of cake, right? All I did was start Visual Studio Premium. Now, if I were you, I'd download the Ultimate. Why not? It's free. File, New, Project. My machine might be a little bit slower than yours. In this, I can choose any different project type. So imagine all the different project types that I have downloaded, and here they are. If I wanted to, I can create an Excel workbook project. I'm not doing all that. So I want to do a simple console application, what we call a console application. Windows. It's a Windows console application. I'm gonna keep it as the .NET Framework 4, .NET Framework 4. Leave that alone. Okay. I'll explain to you what Git is for. I give it an OK. Now it's going to go out and create all the bits and pieces that's necessary for a project to run, a regular console project. You can imagine if I'm running a web project, the web project is a bit more complicated. There's more folders, it's waiting for resources and this or that, it has a web config, there's all kinds of stuff that you need to configure. With a console application, that's just a regular, if I had a method that I needed executed, and I wanted to be able to compile down to an exe and run that. That's what a console application does. Console applications can be run on the server, can be run on the local machine. All right, let this go. Okay. Okay, it's got a couple things hidden here. So here's my module 1. If I go to view, my project window is shut down, or my Solution Explorer window is not shown. There we go. So now if I looked at the folders that I have, this guy, not collapse all, show all files. I show all files. I see that my bin directory, my object directory are empty because there's nothing been compiled. I have references, system, core, data, deployment, XML. These are references. I didn't add any special references. This was the .NET framework, right? It comes with the program. And if I had any settings in my project, which I don't. Again, all I want this program to do is do a hello world. Just by the quick look at it, I know that this is a Visual Basic program because the sub main comes first. Let's say Dang you. I'm half asleep, so bear with me with the typing. I don't like this. This message, that was the old decrepit message box method. I don't like my IntelliSense going away. Let's see what happens if I did. Come on. I want to say. There we go. Message box. Hello world. Okay. So now, hello world. Terrific. So if I run this, I'm going to do build solution. Should build right. No fails. One succeeded. Simple, guys. This submain is the entry point for the program. Submain is called. It sees this method to be executed, calls this method. There's no parameters to pass it. Does a message box, ends the method, comes back here, ends the method, program's done. So let's run this thing, see what it says. It should open up the console window. I spelled hello wrong. That's what my okay. Let's fix that. Give that okay. Let's go back to hello world. Fix it. Run it. Awesome. Now, the program works. We're almost done with this guy. Let's go to build. And I'm going to publish console app 1. I really should have probably named this hello world when I did it, but I'm going to say publish console app 1. And I'm going to publish it